What's going on, guys? It's Crazy Dog here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at this guy right here. This is the V.Lav Pro from Deity, and there's a couple different reasons why I ended up picking this up. Primarily, you can see here I have this janktastic microphone on some weird boom arm attached to the desk, and that's because my last lavalier finally decided after about 3 years to just stop working. It was, I think, the Audio-Technica 3350i or something like that. So I was in the market for a lavalier for a little while, even before it died. It finally died, and it was time. It was time to find something different. And that's when I finally decided to give this guy here a go. So Deity has, in the last couple of years, made a really good reputation for themselves when it comes to audio equipment. Of course, they are a subsidiary or same company sort of thing as Aperture, which has made fantastic lighting products for a number of years. So I know the quality theoretically should be good. I took a look at a couple of videos with samples and kind of going over everything about the microphone, and to me it just made sense. So today we're going to do an unboxing. We're going to get my sort of first impressions, and we're going to test it out to see exactly how it sounds. So pretty small box that you get in the mail. This one was from Amazon. I will have links as well in the video description for you guys if you're interested in picking it up for yourself. So it does come in this little carrying pouch, which is super nice, but I've heard, and I've kind of opened this already, so I know a little bit, but I've heard that once you take it out of this packaging, you're not going to be able to get it back in, and there's for good reason why people say that. We're going to open that up and show you guys as well. So in here, we have the microphone itself. So very nice as far as first glance is concerned. You're going to notice, of course, the cord is insanely long, and this is going to be either a plus or a severe negative for a lot of you out there that are looking to pick up either a replacement lavalier or your first lavalier. So the benefits of having a longer cable, of course, if you're going directly into your camera, and for me right now I'm using the Sigma 30mm f1.4. The camera is, I would say, maybe 6 feet away, you know, carrying out proper social distancing. So for me, if I was capturing audio from my camera, a long cable would be preferable. Since I've been doing this for a while, I actually prefer to record my audio externally and then just sync it afterwards. So I actually record into a Zoom H1. And the issue with the long cable is it's just a lot of like extra slack to stuff in your pocket or to bind up compared to some other solutions that are out there that may have a shorter cable. So I wish right away that there was like a 5-foot cable option of this microphone. I think it would sell very well, but the demand has already been there asking for it forever, and they haven't done it, so I doubt they will, but that's an ask for sure. I would love to see that. They do give you a cable management strap though, so I suppose if you get yourself, let's say, 5 feet of slack and bundle this up, it shouldn't be as bad. Taking a look here, this is really what made me decide to get this microphone. So this little guy here, it operates off, I do believe, 2 LR44 watch batteries. And what this little module does is it actually allows the microphone to switch between like a TRS or TRRS connector, which means that you're going to be able to plug this into a smartphone, which typically would need one configuration of either TRS or TRRS. The battery itself will kick in momentarily to try to figure out what it's plugged into, calibrate itself, and then it's going to turn itself off. So this is not powering the microphone. The microphone itself is actually getting all of its audio and all of its power, I should say, from your device, from the headphone jack itself. So if you are maybe a vlogger or something like that, maybe it's going to have a little bit of an impact on your camera battery, but we've all been using shotgun microphones and different things for the longest time that also leach power, so not a big concern. You have no idea how many times on my Audio-Technica I would record a video and then realize that I didn't hit the power switch, to either turn the audio on or didn't turn it off, and it ran for days on end, sometimes weeks on end, and I would go to record and I would have a dead battery and have to go to the drugstore down the road and pick up a new one. So this was a big selling point for me. They say that this should last 800 hours because, again, it's just determining for a short window of time whether or not it needs TRS or TRRS. So this means it's fully compatible with smartphones, with external recorders, with everything that you could possibly have. This is the one microphone. No finicking around with adapters and switches and things like that. This is your one-stop shop, which is awesome. Aside from that, another thing that I really like about this is, and I'm going to take this windscreen off so maybe you guys can see it a little bit better. The alligator clip is really, really small on this unit, a lot smaller than what I had on my old Audio-Technica, and a lot smaller than some of the other ones that I've seen on the market. The capsule itself, I would say it's a decent size. It's not terribly small. Deity does have some very, very inconspicuous small options available as well if, let's say, you have more professional on-camera talent. But to me, I don't find this capsule very big at all. It does also give you 2 windscreens in the package, which again is a nice plus to see. We're going to get this little windscreen back on. And that's pretty much it for just taking a look at what you get. You're going to get the box. It's going to have the obligatory paperwork that you're never going to look at. You're going to have this little pouch that you'll probably never get the microphone into again. And you're going to have your bread and butter microphone. So this is kind of the big selling point for me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut everything down. I'm going to hook this up to myself, and then we're going to take some audio samples. I would love to actually get some smartphone samples, but I just recently switched to an iPhone 12 and I don't have the dongle. So we're just going to take a look at some audio samples from the Zoom H1. We're going to do some with some post-processing, some without post-processing, and then we'll give you guys some closing thoughts on this little guy here. But I think, honestly, before I even try it, for 70 bucks, I mean, I really can't see myself being disappointed in this. So, I mean, let's get right to it and let's see what we find out. All right, so as you guys can see, I'm using the Lavalier right here. It is hooked up to my Zoom H1, and we're just gonna talk for a little bit. I'm gonna do a couple of different sections here in the audio test, one with the typical post-processing I use, which is taking these clips, running them through Adobe Audition, adding some broadcast settings, adding a little bit of noise reduction adaptively, and then exporting that out, making sure the levels are right around between -4, -6, and that's pretty much all I do. But I wanna see how the bare audio sounds. So that's actually what you've been listening to this entire time. And now we're gonna switch over to something that you may be more familiar with listening to. For the longest time, if you've been a subscriber, you've been a watcher for maybe about a year or two, I've been using a Lavalier with those broadcast settings applied in Adobe Audition for most of my videos. There are a couple as of late as well. If you notice it's kind of echoey, it's because that other microphone was acting very inconsistently. It was just old. But this one here, already I could tell the weight of the alligator clip is a little bit different. The cable itself, I'm not seeing very much peaking or anything. Let's just do a silence test here. So we have a little bit of cable noise that's coming out. It's registering at roughly about -24 dB, but I am also peaking like crazy. So maybe that has something to do with it. I haven't reconfigured these settings since I used my last lavalier, and that was like a condenser lavalier that actually used a battery as well. So I'm gonna have to play with the settings. I'm gonna have to maybe turn down the gain from what I can see, because honestly, I like these one takes, and from what I can see here, I've been consistently peaking like this entire time. But it's good to know that stuff as well, because when I was using this microphone, this is just a cheaper knockoff Rode video mic. I have a video mic over on the camera as well. All those settings from here were the same as here. So if this comes off as a lot hotter when it comes to post-processing, then we know that you may have to practice and dial down or configure some of your settings compared to what you were used to if you're looking at picking up this microphone for yourself. We're also going to do just a very quick audio sample of the Rode Video Micro, which is again about 6 feet away, practicing social distancing over on top of my camera. And this is going to lend to a good example for you guys as to maybe where to spend some of your money on production gear as you move forward. These microphones are great for vlogging, but by the time you start getting comfortable with A-roll and especially experimenting with lenses that may have a longer focal distance, this 30mm Sigma f1.4 on the Sony a6100 is honestly the equivalent of about 45mm, maybe a hair closer to 50 if I'm doing math correctly at a 1.5 times crop, but this isn't going to be a feasible audio solution. So switching back to something like this is going to allow you to come off a lot clearer, a lot crisper, and audio in some aspects are even more important, or is even more important than video when it comes to educational content on YouTube or just getting your voice out. Even myself, I tend to kind of almost black out and listen to a lot of content either on a set of AirPods or from my TV speakers when I'm walking around the house, when I'm doing dishes, and I'd listen to the message sometimes more than I actually watch the message. So that's really gonna wrap up this video, guys. It was just a very quick, like, what's in the box, first impressions. This is also the very first time that I'm using the microphone, so we're gonna see if we can save this peaking. We're gonna see kind of progression as we go along, but this is about as raw as a video like this can get. I'm not an audio guy. I'm like you. I'm small time. So for me to watch a lot of these videos where people are talking about gain settings and dBs and sensitivity, I don't understand that stuff as much as maybe you guys don't understand that stuff. So I am you going through this for the first time, and this is kind of what you can expect if you're looking at the Deity V.Lav and how you're looking to use it. Purchase links, again, will be in the video description if you guys are interested in checking out up-to-date pricing and availability. For me, this was $69 Canadian when I picked it up, and truthfully, I think it's $69 well spent. Until the next video, guys, my name is Crazy Dog. You guys have been awesome, and we'll catch you all in my next one. Take care.